Welcome back on our final day of taking a risk. So today you're going to see we have three basic things that we need to cover. One, I'm going to give you another example essay to see. Two, I'm going to show you the revision checklist where you can find everything you need from every one of these videos to everything you need to highlight, underline, how to do the conclusion. All of those things are going to be right there. And then you're going to finish out your essay. Your essay is due by Monday. So you will have all of today to finish it out and over the weekend to get it finished out. And even on Monday, we'll just talk a little checklist and then you can do it for homework on Monday. So it needs to be done before you go to bed on Monday night. All right, let's take a look at your essay. And some of you are going to be done today and ready to just turn it in. And that's great. So let's take a look at this one. All right, so this essay right here is where a student took a risk. And I want you to really pay attention to the writing tricks and then, of course, to the ending. So their risk here was getting it up and auditioning. So a lot of you have done tryouts. You've tried out for a soccer team. You've tried out for a dance studio. You've tried out for a play. You've tried out, some people have to do different tryouts for musical positions. So a lot of you have done some type of tryout. So you could probably relate to how this writer was feeling. So let's take a look at 8 minutes. Notice the title, and you're going to see right where it comes from. They took it right out of their actual essay. And they actually started their essay off with one of the writing tricks, repetition. Take a look. 8 minutes. 8 minutes to prove what I could do. 8 minutes to showcase my talent. 8 minutes. Not enough time. Pacing back and forth, my heart hammering to the beat of the tune that I had already sung a million times in my head. I tried to calm myself down as I wasn't going to get nervous, but my hands were already getting clammy. It was too late. People say that when you get nervous, you have butterflies in your stomach, but it was worse than that. For it wasn't the butterflies doing somersaults in my stomach. Nope, they were full-grown, infiltrated bats stampeding around in there, making me want to puke. Auditioning for the school play seemed like a good idea at first, until I became face to face with the deafening horror of singing in front of the judges. I mean, I knew it was going to be difficult, but it was not supposed to be that difficult. I wanted it more than anything. I needed it more than my lungs needed air. I yearned for it in a way that drove me crazy, but my craziness only motivated me more. I looked up at the enemy. The clock time was ticking. Precious time was ticking. Precious, meaningful time was ticking. Bad thoughts started seeping into my head without warning. Everything crept in all at once. And I was trapped already in my own melodramatic mind with no way out and no way for anything to get in. The hallway, a narrow, small space, started to get skinnier and skinnier. The walls, they seemed to consume me, eat me up, and spit me back out like a beast eating its prey, and I was its next victim. I guess I didn't taste very good because when I opened my eyes, I was still in the same hallway. Then I heard it, my name, or at least a version of my name that sounded familiar, but mispronounced. It was my time. Now, my 8 minutes. Walking into the choir room, my confidence seemed to get smaller and smaller with every growing step. Frightened and afraid, I moved closer toward the microphone that had been placed in the center of the room. The microphone was whispering to taunt me in a pitiful, no good way. My mouth started to fill with a million cotton balls, puffy and dry. Breathing started to get difficult, and panic struck up my arms, leaving goosebumps. My blood felt bitter cold, but I could feel my cheeks getting warmer. Catching a lingering faint smell of banana, my stomach twisted again, making it even worse. I happened to find that smells like in a pile of abandoned garbage left on the curb for the last century. The song, it gets turned on, and instantly I remember the catchy tune. Awkwardly, I smile because it was a happy song, and I didn't feel happy at all. What if I forget the words? Impossible. Taking a deep breath, I sigh. What if I die? Right here in front of the judges. I'll go from the first line of the song, who can take a sunrise, to who can plant a funeral. As long as I'm not dressed in orange, it'll be completely fine. Belting out my first couple of lines, they must not sound 100% terrible because the judges were still smiling. Most of them. Nervous and worried, I do the planned movements along to the peppy words. Concentrating on what my body is doing, I mess up one of the words. No! And it was going so well. So I thought. Everyone seems to notice, which pretty much brings my ego down to about the size of a peanut. Nonchalantly playing it off like I wasn't deafened by the previous predicament, I sing on. After that, everything goes pretty natural. I'm not dead yet. And then it comes. It is the thing I've been fearing my whole life. It is something that keeps me awake at night. It is a high note, the highest note of the song, staring at me as if it were a staring contest. And it was winning. I sing it, and I sing it proud. For a second, it echoes off the walls, and for a second, it plays back in my head, and for a second, nothing else matters. I felt like the song was over as soon as it started. My nightmaric singing was over, but I still had 5 more minutes. So I sing the song again, better this time. Thundering in my chest, my heart rapidly gets louder as the song comes to an end. I'm afraid the judges can hear it, but there's no way to make it quieter. For a gruesome moment, I think it might stop altogether, but it doesn't. And it was over, and I was glad. Now, I feel nothing. The agonizing ache for success, it's gone away. No more nervousness, no more hope and dreaming, no more anything. I feel nothing. Not even my heart anymore. Not even my shaken and rattled, unsteady breaths. I've gone completely pale. The color drains from my face. My knees seem to buckle, throbbing and spinning. My brain struggles to cooperate with my body. And Mr. Kane speaks for the first time and says, "Good, you can go." "Okay, thanks," I reply, quickening my pace to get out of the door. "How did you do?" someone questions immediately. "Good," I answered cheerfully. And this is all I can muster at the time. Some risks have better outcomes, but you know what? All risks are worth it. The more you risk, the more you have to gain. The outcome is determined on how much you're willing to risk. I now know that happiness is a risk, and if you're not a little scared, then you're not doing it right. All right, so here's her risk. She got up there, she did her audition, it didn't go exactly as she planned, and at the very end, she tells you what she took away from that experience. You're going to want to do that in your conclusion. You're going to want to come away and tell us, what did you take away from this experience? So if you look at this example right here, and this is of the kid who never hit record when he tried to do his epic stunt show. And he's got what, he took away. I learned something that day. You have to think before you act in certain situations, like pushing record or maybe thinking you shouldn't try and skateboard off of that. So it's got a clever little ending. So it's just, what did you take away? So today, as you look at your conclusion, you're going to want to finish it out. Tie it back to taking a risk. Talk about how you took that risk and what did you gain from taking that risk? Did you learn a life lesson? Did you learn that, hey, this isn't so bad? Or did you learn like, maybe I would do that again? Or, big mistake. And you can end with a quote. You can end with a description. You can leave us with a question. You can use some repetition. So find a clever way to kind of just finish out your essay. So today, I told you that we were going to do a few things. And these are all important things. You did the example essay. You're going to have to write your after and your conclusion, but you need to check out the revision checklist. So let's do that right now. Go to Google Classroom. Go under Taking a Risk. Click on the Student Help Slides. I'll give you a second to do that. Meet you back in just a second. Pause me so you can get there. All right, here we are. These are your tools to finish out your essay. Use your student help slides. They're here for a reason. If you couldn't remember how to do your before, you can click right here and watch the video. If you couldn't remember how to add in those details, you can click here on day 4 and watch the video. If you're like, what am I supposed to do with sentence fluency again? Click day 5. If you want to see any of those examples that Mrs. Prentice and I read, you can click on any of these. These are all the days right here, easy for you to find. Here's your checklist. Tells you everything you need to do. You have to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. You've got to use the writing tricks. If you use dialogue, make sure it's punctuated right. Use figurative language. Having to have inner thoughts throughout the whole thing. Using some great word choice. Then sentence fluency. And finally, your conclusion and your title. Give it a great title. Look back and find a snazzy title. Here's just some helpful hints. Here's how to make it a positive in case you forgot. Here are the other 3 sentence structures. You've got to use these somewhere in your writing piece. And there again, here's some more examples. You want to get rid of rice cakes. Have tons of fireballs. Remember those writing sheets in your resources. Conclusion. This is how you do your conclusion. Again, a little bit more. This might help you with some sentence starters for your conclusion. Right here, highlight any figurative language and any writer's tricks that you use. And you must underline those sentence structures. You have to show them to us at least once. So if you underline it more than once, that's fine, but show us at least one sentence starting with an adverb, at least one sentence starting with a participial phrase, one sentence starting, actually just containing in a positive, and one sentence starting with those double adjectives. So you want to make sure that you have that. Let me see if I can type that correctly. All right. Now, you want to make sure that you have a title. Find a phrase. Put it in there. Capitalize it and center it so that you find something that really hooks us in. All right. And when it's all done, just simply turn it in. I encourage you to share this writing piece with somebody at home. Let them see it and share it with them. And then just always double check the capitals, the end marks. If things are underlined in blue or they're underlined in red, that means you need to check on it. It needs either a grammar check or a spell check. So make sure you're checking those things. All right, guys, I can't wait to read these. They are amazing writing pieces. Mrs. Prentice and I love getting into those. So have a great time writing them. Finish it out. It's your homework at this point. All right, have a good one.